What is going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a brand new episode of Phoenix Down. This is Phoenix Down 124.1, and we are continuing our playthrough of Resident Evil 4 Remake. Today I have with me Matt.
Hello.
And yeah, well, last we left off, we had defeated the lake.
El
Lago. And Leon is spitting up blood, and he passes out in the boat.
Yeah, everybody's infected.
Yeah. And so, chapter 4, we wake up in the boat, and we're like, what the hell was that about? And so we continue on to the dock, the fishing dock. And correct me if I'm wrong, this section was not in the original, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask you that. I'm pretty sure before you just, it might as well have been a hallway, right? You fought the lake and then you moved on to the next section. Here you can explore the lake a bit, and there's caves and there's little docks to explore, and it's definitely a bit more interactive.
Yeah, definitely a lot more open-ended, where you can pretty much go, like you can jump back on the boat, go all around the lake if you want to. There's even like a sunken ship, or like a I don't know, a derelict ship that you can jump on. There's treasure in it. I enjoyed this part because you still had that hub. You could always go back to the merchant and save your game, and then come back out if you wanted to. I did a quest for the merchant where I had to find this giant bass.
Yep. Yeah, I did that one.
Yeah, I got that.
Done a lot of those now. I don't know if I picked something up, but it shows me where all like the little blue medallions are.
Did you buy a map?
I did, but it was showing me them before I bought the map. Because I was like, what do I need this map for now if it's already showing me all this stuff? Because my first time through, I basically missed one in every section. I had like 4 out of 5 in 2 different sections, and at this section, or just after this section, you get to do a little backtracking. And so I was able to go through and clean up and get a bunch of extra spinels, and yeah, I did the bass. I shot a few pythons and snakes, and yeah, I was able to clear up a bunch of those little side quests.
Yeah, I'm not skipping any of those. I'm trying to get them all. The problem now is like I have so many spinels that there's nothing I really need. My arsenal has kind of remained the same. I sold my original shotgun and bought the riot gun.
I should have done that.
So, wasn't it on sale? Did he have it on sale, or it might have been something else?
Yeah, so, he might have, yeah.
Every chapter he has a different thing that's on sale that you can purchase. The problem is I'm not running out of money because I got that extended treasure map thing from the deluxe edition. I've got so much freaking money. Like, I could buy whatever I want to. The problem is I don't have room in my pack for it.
Yeah. I'm carrying 4 guns at the moment. I just did a pretty good upgrade. Pretty close to where I ended. I've still got my normal handgun, which I've upgraded quite a lot. I picked up the Magnum, the Broken Butterfly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because that one was on sale, so I got the free recipe for Magnum rounds, and I think it was a discount on the Magnum itself.
Okay.
I sold, because throughout this section that we're talking about, these 3 chapters, I've used the bolt gun a fair amount, and I've never felt like I liked it.
I cannot stand it. I think it's useless.
Yeah.
It is a last resort weapon.
It was nice because they give you the 5 free like explosive rounds that you can attach to the bolts. And I love the idea that you can reuse the bolts, pick them up, although I forgot to do that both times I pulled it out to actively use it. Because I actually don't feel like I have a lot of money. I feel like when I made this one big flip on weapons, I had to sell weapons. I was like, I'm not sure I want to, but I ended up selling the TMP. I had the TMP for a while with the stock, and I didn't mind it, but it felt pretty basic. And I'm starting to get access to, or at this point in the game, we're starting to get access to better weapons. So I bought an upgraded like assault rifle with a sight, and then the broken butterfly is a magnum, and then I've still got the original shotgun and the original handgun.
Gotcha.
So I'm feeling pretty beefy at the moment, even if I don't have a lot of ammo and I have no money to buy more ammo.
So the DLC handgun that I had been using. That's a staple for me. It can hold like 24 shots.
Oh, nice.
I've got it fully upgraded. So I've been using it a lot. The shotgun is really, I have been pulling it out for boss fights, and I did pull it out for like, crowd control just a little bit. The the crappy bolt gun, no,
Yeah.
I need, honestly, I need to sell it if we're being honest. Get some room in there for that Magnum that I'm going to be purchasing.
Yeah. I heard that
Um,
that the remake is better with giving you more money back for your upgrade, so you're not wasting as much money by upgrading your early weapons.
right.
So I think you get more back for them. So I'm not about yet to sell my handgun, although at some point I assume I'll move up to a higher level handgun and use that for the rest of the game as my handgun.
I
Um,
I what was that called? The Red 9, the
yeah,
Mauser looking gun. I
yeah,
purchased it, used it once, and said, "Nah, I'm good."
really.
Yeah,
Because I was eyeballing
wasn't
that one. I don't know how many more there are in the game, but I was looking at the Red 9 and just maybe saying maybe I'll make the switch to that one and upgrade as far as I can. Because I think that's got the highest base power.
it does. It's a powerful handgun. You have to kind of get the stock for it, otherwise it's with my regular handgun that I got, I can pow 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 pow. With the Mauser, I'm like pow, pow,
Just too slow.
pow. It's slower. It's a lot slower, and that just wasn't jiving for me.
Yeah, maybe
There's
then
just
for the slow, I'll just keep
what?
the Magnum. Right. I'll keep the
Yeah,
regular handgun as a nice, quick, agile, kneecapping Ganados wherever I can.
yeah. That's more my style. I'm probably gonna sell the Red 9 and the bolt thrower.
Yeah.
Kind of
I
done
haven't,
with both those.
I haven't picked up a regular rifle, although now that I have this assault rifle, the Stingray, that's pretty cool.
So what's the magnification on it though?
Not great. And I would say, see, I can't actually tell if I like the scope. So I got the Stingray, and it's got iron sights, which actually take up so much of the screen. I don't like that I can't see what's happening around me. But then I got the scope for it, and it feels like it takes a second or two to focus once you bring the scope up. And I don't like that either. I don't like that delay. I want to know exactly what I'm aiming at because, I'm fighting someone. There's a little growth in its back that I'm trying to hit, but I can't actually see it that well because of the second of focus time. So I don't actually know. I wish there was like a regular, like maybe you never put a red dot sight on a rifle, but some other type of scope. Maybe there'll be a better scope later that I can replace this one with. I like the
Right.
gun, but it gets a little hectic, and I can't actually see the screen in either scenario.
Yeah, I haven't even bothered with the rifle, so I don't know.
I only used the TMP a couple of times before I sold it.
I had no desire for the TMP.
Yeah, it's
I don't know why.
not really my favorite play style. Because I feel like you have to get up close and personal, and I feel like if I'm going to do that, I might as well use a shotgun.
Yeah, yeah, you want that punch, knock them back. But yeah, um, going through this lake area kind of thing, we're trying to grab
So the main
two
thing is we're
heads.
trying to get the key to the church.
Yes, and we know where we can get the key, but we have to have these two heads to put on these altars. And the heads are on opposite sides of the lake, so we're going back and forth kind of thing. One of the puzzles for one of the heads, I have no idea where you could find the answer. I can't remember which one it was. It was not the one. So I could find the answer to one of them because it was like spray painted on the walls.
Yeah, I think both of them were spray painted.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention at the first one, and I was just like, I'm pressing buttons here. I was like, I'm looking it up. I don't know what I'm doing. So I looked that one up, and then when I went to the next one, I was like, oh, I see the symbol spray painted. I was like, did I miss something? I was like, whatever. Just kept
Yeah.
going. Like I have limited time. I'm too old for this.
The harder one
So
for me was the one that's by, it's like a small little cabin room, and there was a way that you could climb up to the top, and
yeah,
it was harder to identify the spray painted symbols because you had to line up
yeah,
like the windowsill with the wall in the background.
yep.
So you could,
That's one I figured out. So
mm. So I think the other one was it was in that general it was the bigger of the two areas, and it was a cave,
yeah,
and it had like the lower level and the upper level. I think they were all spray painted on the upper level.
gotcha.
One
I
of
guess I
them,
just wasn't paying attention.
yeah, you had to kind of come from both directions to find them because one of them was across from the bridge. So the first time I went up, I went all the way to the end, then up, and you only could see one or two of the symbols from that direction. So you had to kind of circle back the other direction to find the other last symbol.
Yeah. So um, after we get the key, we have to go back through. So I got a little lost here. I wouldn't say lost. I saw on the map where I needed to go, and I was like, well, do I just go back the way I came through past the merchant? Or I was like, can I go that way by going off on one of these little paths with the boat? Which, no, you can't, but it did lead me to some treasure that I could find. So I was okay with that. It was probably a 20-minute detour. I didn't care.
Yeah.
So,
There's one of those little
but
detours gets you the golden egg that you can hand over to the merchant.
that's right. I got the golden egg, gave it to the merchant. But yeah, we have to go back to the merchant, go past where we came from with him, and then it leads to the arena for the next boss fight. I remember this boss fight from the original game. I'm not seeing. So we mentioned on the last episode, I'm not seeing that many of those quick time events like there were in the original.
Yeah.
There was, and I wouldn't even call it a quick time event. There was the when you fight the boss. So the El Gigante is what it's called. It's this giant mutated person. I don't know. But yeah, when you shoot it and it goes down, it has that thing on its back. You can run up to it and kind of slash it a few times by hitting the button. But as far as like dodging out of the way of the rolling boulder or hitting a button to run away from something, none of that stuff's really in this. I think they just got rid of it.
I would just call that like updating it for the year of release. Right? There's
Yeah,
a lot more still contextual, right? Like when he goes down and you do have to like kind of run up and catch the right timing, but not as a quick time event. It's more like just when you have
exactly.
to kick the regular Ganados when when they're down.
Yeah, and that's um, I guess I like that change, obviously. But it
Yeah.
makes me think there is a fight later on in this game that is all quick time events, and I'm wondering if that still remains the same because it kind of has to be because that was the whole it was like a cutscene fight at the same time.
Heard or I
So
read somewhere that they changed it. They wanted to keep the spirit of it, so it's mostly parries and counterattacks.
okay,
So still kind of in the same vein of not a normal fight, but also
right,
not purely quick time.
gotcha. But yeah, the fight with the Gigante.
Yeah, my only issue here
Um,
was I couldn't really tell if I was hitting him half the time,
what do you
and
mean?
I feel like a lot of times I was shooting him, I was aiming mostly for the face, and then once I could hit the thing on his back, I was aiming for that.
So
Um,
this is where I asked you about the dog or the wolf. If you help
yeah.
the wolf will show back up and help you with this fight.
Oh, well, he certainly did not.
So yeah, I had the wolf on my side, and the wolf doesn't really do damage to the boss, I don't think, but he distracts it.
Yeah,
So he can
key
be
for this
running
one.
after the wolf, and then you can shoot it in the back thing, the tendrils on the back.
Yeah,
So I didn't have too much of an issue here. Honestly, I feel like the boss fights are easy compared to the stand your ground fights.
yeah. I've definitely died more on the arena style, barricade yourself in, and especially if there's a chainsaw guy, because the idea of one mistimed evade or one time where you engage the wrong guy and somebody comes up behind you with a chainsaw and I'm just dead.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like the boss so far has been a little bit more like they set you up for it. I mean, they do with the kind of arena fights too, where there's extra ammo and stuff, but it's less chaotic. So it's weird to me because it's less chaotic and I feel like it's easier, like El Gigante. But I feel like this game's at its best in those arena fights. It
yeah.
is
It
so
is.
tense. It's not scary per se. Like I was thinking about that when I was playing it today because it's clearly atmospheric and meaning to be scary in a general sense, but it really isn't trying to evoke fear in you, the player. It's more like, oh, wouldn't you be scared if you were in this environment? But not like Resident Evil 7, where I actually feel scared playing the game
Right.
because of the jump outs and the gross outs. Here, my overriding feeling often is tension, not fear.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think they went with tension and panic over scary.
Yeah,
You know, that and Resident Evil 4 was kind of where they changed it. Like that was the big transition.
yeah. I
Um,
still feel a little bit
and
mixed on that while I'm playing this because I'm like, oh, it's so tense, it's so great, but it also isn't Resident Evil.
that's the same way. I feel the exact same way as I do with Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
I think Metal Gear Solid 5 is a fantastic game, but it is a bad Metal Gear game.
The one thing that I feel like they tuned so well in this game is how much ammo you have.
Yeah.
I never feel like I have enough ammo, but I always seem to have just enough to squeak by each fight.
Yep.
And I
That was the
don't know
big.
how you tune it that well.
I mean, it's got to be algorithms. The game realizes how much ammo you have left, and then an enemy will die, and it will drop some ammo,
Yeah.
or
Or
an enemy will die, it'll drop you a healing item.
yeah, they must think I always have enough then because I feel like 90% of what I get is pesetas.
Yeah.
Like I don't want any more of these. Just give me ammo, please.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, there's a couple of really good like frantic arenas in this section that we played.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
beat Gigante, we get the key, and we go to the church.
A lot of churches and a lot of arenas.
Yeah. So going to the church, and this is the end of chapter 4. Like when we
Yeah.
when we finally meet Ashley,
Yeah. The weird
I
thing here,
think.
the last thing you do, I think, in this chapter is where you have to rotate the stained glass.
Yes.
And I kind of was weirded out. I'm like, I feel like in any Resident Evil game, this is the kind of thing. All right, you see it. There's three recesses. You need to go find the three gears and then solve the puzzle. But as soon as you get here, two of them are already full. and you don't really have to search for the third one. So I almost felt like they skipped something here, or
Possibly.
or it felt like maybe they were trying to speed it up a little bit. So like, oh, let's just skip the puzzle. You just do the stained glass part, not the
Yeah,
finding of the gears part.
true. That's a pretty good observation there. I mean, but then again, moving that puzzle around took me a little bit longer than I thought it should. I had it right, but it was upside down. I'm like, shit, and I had to start it and move it all the way back over again. But, yeah. Make it inside the church, solve the puzzle. There's Ashley. Ashley is very apprehensive of you. In fact, she tries to hit you, I think.
Yeah.
After we're like, hey, we're on your side. We're trying to get you out of here. That's, I think, where it ends, I think. Or is it after you run through the cemetery again?
No, I think it ends right there, and I think chapter 5 starts with you basically look out the window, and all of a sudden there's a mob coming to the church.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that is happening is that both Leon and Ashley are having these headaches where they can actually hear a voice in their head. I don't know who it was. It might have been Mendez or it might have been Sadler. I can't remember. That was like talking. Probably Sadler, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Which we have not talked about these people yet. Mendez we've met before. He's the hat guy.
Who
But
apparently just takes bullets and doesn't care.
yeah, he doesn't take explosions very well though.
No.
So, but yeah, this is, and we get a new mechanic. So now we have turned this game into an escort mission. Ashley will follow you, and you have two modes. You can do tight and loose. So if she's tight, she stays right on you and follows you in that line. If you set it for loose, she will follow you, but she takes other routes, trying to go around guys, trying to avoid people. So far I haven't really messed with that. I've just had her stay behind me the whole time.
Yeah, I have too. The only time I was thinking about it, I think at the end of this chapter, we just have to run,
Yeah.
because she got caught about 6 times.
Holy crap, yes she did.
And I didn't
So,
realize I was inches from the cutscene on probably 3 of those 6. Inches. I was already on those boards. One more step and I would have been done. And I didn't know. I didn't know I was that close to it. So, a couple times I thought about turning around to maybe shoot the explosive barrel, but all of a sudden Mendez just picks her up and jumps off the cliff. Game over.
yep.
No matter where, like
So,
no matter where he picked her up, he apparently was right by the cliff.
yeah, every time he teleports.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that comes a little bit later. We get established with Ashley, telling her, "Hey, we're getting you out of here. We have a rendezvous point. We're gonna have a helicopter pick us up." So we have to go backtrack through the village.
Why was that the helicopter pickup point?
It was not at the beginning of the game. It was like up north of the village, right?
Yeah, I
I
just
think.
kind of wish they would have come closer to us. So they're making us backtrack through the village, but there's
Yeah,
got to be some place they can get closer to us.
right.
This is a
Oh,
highly dangerous area.
Leon even says that because I think it happens later on because there's a storm coming in. And let me tell you something, man. I get it. They're trying to be atmospheric. The storm is coming, but when you have Leon and Ashley going, ugh, all the time, I'm thinking I'm getting hit or something,
Yeah.
or there's an enemy around or something like that. But it's just them reacting to the storm, the high winds. I'm just like, do we need that, guys? So I don't know, but yeah. storm coming in. We got to go back through the village. I was able to finally get that treasure because I now had Ashley with me and I could boost her up into that barn so she could open the door for me. Cool. Got that off my list. There was also, before we got to where we need to go with Ashley, there was that one quest you had to do for the merchant where you had to hunt down the dog.
Yeah,
Did you do that
I
one?
must have done something out of order because I feel like I killed 4 or 5 dogs. Then I got the quest, and then I never saw another dog.
So you have to go back to the house where you had to do the puzzle with the spinning orb to make the symbol.
Yeah.
You have to go back there with Ashley and go up into the attic, and that triggers the dog to show up right outside of the house. And then you have to chase back after him into the village itself, and then that's where you fight him. That dog takes a lot of shots. So
Yeah.
I was able to get that one. Trying to think. That's when after getting through the village, that's when we get chased by Mendez.
Yeah,
'Cause
on the way out.
Yeah, we go through the doors that we were never able to go through, and that's when Mendez is there. And so, Matt, as you said, if Ashley gets picked up by Mendez, game over. You can't shoot him to drop her or anything like that. She got jumped. She got captured by Mendez like 5 times with me within the first probably 20 seconds of running.
Yeah.
So, one issue, because you're running from Mendez, you're going through this area and there's villagers trying to get you to. All right. There's like 5 villagers standing there. Pull out a flash grenade. Boom. Guess what? That also blinds Ashley. I didn't know this. I was running.
She wasn't.
So she's grabbed.
Yeah. I feel like at least once or twice she got hit when somebody would like swing at me and she was behind me. She got hit, slowed down,
Yep.
then she was grabbed.
Yep. That's exactly what happened a couple times with me.
There's the part right
But
when basically the first thing you do in the chase, there's like a wagon with an explosive barrel on it.
yep.
I take the 2 or 3 slow steps until the guys get close to the barrel, shoot it, but then there's a lady right after that comes charging at me half the time. And so she knocked Ashley back once or twice to get picked up. Once or twice, the first time it happened, I was just kind of halfway there and I turned around to shoot the guy, which wasn't a great idea.
Yeah. I think one of the loading screens during that was like, don't try to shoot Mendez. It does
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Got it. But, yeah, when I was doing that, when I finally beat it, I just pulled out my shotgun and was like, run, stop, boom, run, stop, boom, and just kept going. Not like I'd shoot a guy. Sometimes they would turn into the parasite thing. So we didn't mention that. We finally ran into the tentacle thing that would come out of their necks when you shot their head off.
Yeah.
Those things still suck.
They do, but I don't think I ever realized in the original game how susceptible they were to the flash grenades.
Yeah, they instantly kill them, don't they?
Yeah, instant kill. Even if there's
Yeah,
2 or 3 of them around, it's quite a way to save other ammo. And I've always just kind of written off the flash grenades. I'm like, look, I'm not usually that tactful where I love the idea of a flash grenade and then I'll go up maybe melee 2 or 3 or 4 people, but I feel like half the time I try to do that, I get up next to them and all of a sudden the stun wears off and they grab me.
yeah,
But it's a totally different ball game with the tentacles because they just vaporize in the light.
yeah. I think there was like maybe the merchant said that. I can't remember. It was
Yeah,
whenever you could. He lets you purchase the recipe for them. And he's like, yeah. He said the parasite hates them. They hate. That's why they don't come out during the day.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a good point to keep in mind.
Yeah, now because now they're here, and that will eat up a lot of ammo if you don't have the flash grenades.
Yep. But we were able to escape Mendez. The bridge, the swinging bridge that we went across, falls. So he's over there, and we're over here. He's not happy about it, but he walks away. And we travel more with Ashley, and we run into, I would say, the most frantic I've been in this game so far.
The fight with Luis?
No. Before Luis. Or wait. Yeah, Luis. It's Luis and then the Chainsaw Sisters, right? Is that how it is?
Yeah, those are both pretty intense fights, but they're different fights, right?
Yeah, they are different fights.
Yeah, I
So
think it's with Luis first, right?
yeah, we do Luis, and that's the end of the chapter. And then the next chapter is we're going through a different part of the area. We have to get the crank and the Chainsaw Sister show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, we run into Luis again, and he tells us, "Hurry up," because we're getting chased again. Hurry up! We'll barricade ourselves in this house. We have Ashley hide, so we don't have to worry about her. And Luis is there, and he's helping us fight these guys off. Now, I don't know if this is a time or two, or if just got to kill numerous guys.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that during the fight. I'm like, I don't know if I just need to survive, or if I better just get killing because it might be you have to kill 20 guys or something.
Oh, I killed more than 20. I
This
think
was
between me and Luis, I think we killed probably about 100 dudes.
Yeah. This was
But
intense.
that was pretty intense because they just keep coming.
And then they take it up to the second floor.
Yeah, they take it up to the second floor. So that's the thing is like I would say this is like the village, the very beginning of the game, times about 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Because they're very small space to run around in. The one saving grace is Luis will give you ammo. He'll throw you ammo occasionally.
Yeah.
And after this fight, I had 2 bullets to my name.
Yeah, exactly. I did too. And that's where I felt like the game, is just tuned so well because I was watching out of the corner of my brain my ammo levels go down. And there's still so many guys around. I'm like, I just don't know what to do in 3 minutes because I'm going to run out of ammo immediately. And then, yeah, a couple of enemies drop it and Luis gives you some and you squeak through, but it's tense.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That was hardcore.
One of the most gratifying moments so far, though, is putting down a regular grenade in that room when there was about 4 enemies in the corner.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, better look at the value on that grenade.
Yeah, that was a hard one.
I probably died
like, okay,
two or 3 times.
Yeah, I think I died maybe twice. But I was like, okay, do I need to go ahead and move upstairs or should I save it? But yeah, I made it through eventually. I did a lot of running around, like looking for ammo. But yeah, when that chapter ended, like we ran through the doors and closed them, and I was like, yeah, I don't have no ammo.
Yeah. And the difficulty's so perfect too. I mean, I guess it's a function of how much ammo you have, and since that's tuned well, maybe it just automatically means the difficulty's tuned well. But I love that these big boss fights, big arenas, I'm always dying a couple of times, but never dying 10 times.
Right.
It's pretty quick to repeat with the continue, and a lot of them, either it's kind of an unlucky break where you didn't see a guy and they killed you, or you're still just kind of feeling out where they're coming from. And so I feel like by the time I learn the scenario, I can beat the scenario without too much problem. And that just it's such a gratifying sense of progression without the frustration that comes with just like beating your head up against it. You're like, I don't know, I'm just gonna keep trying until something lucky happens.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is, if anything, this game is very balanced.
Yeah.
I'm curious of how it would be on the harder difficulty because I'm playing on standard mode. Um, that harder difficulty may be beat your head against the wall.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, no, it's that was a great encounter.
Yeah.
And
And then
then
the
the
brute comes
other,
at the end, right when I'm just about out of ammo. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
yep, this one of the things I loved about the remakes. So Resident Evil 2 did it great, 3 did it good, and this game does it good too. Is the comments that Leon will make.
Oh yeah.
Like there's been a couple of times where like I'll shoot a guy and then the tentacles come out, and Leon's just like, "Gotta be kidding me,"
Yeah.
like that. And there was what was the one? There was there was one time, it was whenever I was still in the lake area and the tentacle thing popped out. And I'm pretty sure Leon said, "Yep, I knew it was going to happen." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And they did it really good there. They did it really good in Resident Evil 2. I remember there were a couple times where I'd shoot a zombie in Resident Evil 2, and Leon would just go, "Son of a bitch."
Yeah, if it feels like if anything they had the time like that level of detail and just for like even tuning those comments, they're like, all right, we're gonna make sure everything is super polished.
Yeah, yeah. One of the coolest things when I played Resident Evil 2 Remake, I know I keep going back to Resident Evil 2 Remake, but I'm sorry, it's one of the best games I've ever played. Resident Evil 2 Remake, one of the coolest things I thought was, because you're using a flashlight a lot in that game. He held a flashlight in his left hand, had the gun in his right hand. If you reloaded, he would take the flashlight, put it in between his neck and his shoulder, and reload with both hands, and then take it back up. I was like, "That's perfect." And
Yeah.
the thing is, they modeled it in such a way that the light was real, so it was actually coming from that flashlight, and it never actually affected the light itself as far as you seeing. So it was always the light was always in the same spot. So it both looks visually cool, but it also doesn't hinder your gameplay.
Yeah.
There were so many things about that remake is phenomenal. It's so good, so good. And this, like, I have to give it to this game. Like, I'm turning on Resident Evil 4 because for the longest time I was like, it wasn't really my style. I'm kind of digging this game,
Yeah. I'm
like,
enjoying
a
it.
lot.
I mean, I love the first one, and I still feel the same conflicted nature. But now going through it a second time, it's just undeniably great.
Yeah, it's so good.
And
It's so good.
it doesn't have that sense that Resident Evil 3 had on either occasion that it feels a little bit like a cash in or it's cheap or it's a little redundant or it's not enough there's not enough meat on the bone. This, I mean, this is a not a 8 or 9 hour game, right? It's a meaty adventure and you go to a lot of places. The moment to moment feels great, the atmosphere feels great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
No,
it feels like it's firing on all cylinders.
yeah. No, this is a solid game, and the remake with the additions that they have added, like the lake area and stuff like that, breaks up some of the monotony of going from hallway to arena, hallway to arena. Like, oh, you can explore, you can go over here if you want to. You don't have to, And they've got treasures and little puzzles and secrets and stuff like that scattered around, so you always feel like you're doing something.
Yeah.
And then whenever you get bored of that, you can go do the shooting gallery with the merchant, or you can go tune your stuff, or you can go do a quest for the merchant, or you can continue with the story a little bit. It's like with the gameplay perfectly balanced. The time spent in this game is perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
If you want to continue the story, all the story beats are there. They're all spaced out perfectly well. If you don't want to continue with the story and you want to do something else in the game, we've got plenty of stuff for you to do.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
solid package. Solid package. But yeah, back to the
And
story at hand.
I love so much of the exploring in this game because it's not just, and I know Resident Evil has done this and I don't hate it, but it's not just like sewers and hallways. Like this next section where you're, I guess you are many times so far in this game, but you're in this kind of, it's like a fort almost.
Yeah.
It's like these like, wooden barricades and wooden spikes and the like just everything illuminated by the flames. All the rocky paths are all reflective, like it's just rained. Like it's just got such a cool atmosphere to be exploring.
Yeah. Yeah. They changed it up a good amount.
Yeah, and then all of a
But
sudden there's a castle. Like
yeah. Now there's a
it's just
castle.
yeah, so many different environments. I just it really every even the gameplay itself and the things you just described, like the get doing the side quests and picking up crest pieces and picking up all the little collectibles, all that stuff would be good, but I feel like the views and the variety of locations and the variety of enemies even, right? Like we just fought El Gigante and there are multiple different bosses, and while you do fight a lot of infected villagers, they use them in interesting enough ways that coupled with the environment, I feel like every 20 minutes I'm doing something different than I was 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, after we beat the stand your ground with Luis, we escape and get the cutscene with uh, Ashley now coughing up blood. And Luis is like, yeah, you guys are both infected. And you got probably, how long do you say? Less than 24 hours
Yeah, I
before
think so. And then
yeah, you turn into one of them.
there was some note that we picked up that said there is a way to slow it down.
Yeah, yeah. And he's like, there is, because it hasn't fully taken over you yet, we can remove the parasite. He's like, I know how to do it. And I'll call you later and let you know how we do it. I was like, okay. And that's the end of the chapter. Going into chapter 6, it starts off with Luis. So this is a new cutscene because I don't remember this. Luis is walking and he runs into Ada Wong.
Mm-hmm.
So the, I remember when we first ran into Ada in the first game, it was kind of like a big reveal. And this one, he's just like, "Hey, Ada," and I'm just like, why would you do it like that?" She's just kind of there, and she's obviously using Luis to get something for her. We don't know what, but he said he would get it for her. I think that was all of the cutscene, right?
Yeah, it was pretty mysterious. He's
Yeah,
just like, "Oh, I thought you would help me get out," and she said, "Well, I'm not helping you get out until you get me my item."
yeah, pretty much. So Leon, we trying to imagine where we need to go. We're trying to find the. I think we're still trying to move on to the rendezvous point, right? And the Hunnigan tells us that, well, because of the storm, we can't land right now. And Leon's like, we ain't got no options. This place is too dangerous. You need to get us the hell out of here right now. He's like, well, you need to keep moving. And he's like, okay, we'll swim if we need to. So we eventually run into a door that we can't open. We had to have a crank for. I
Yeah.
can't remember
Yeah, this
like
is a lot of
these.
like shantytown and
Yeah.
wooden plank village that we kind of just keep walking through until we get to the big door that requires the crank,
Hmm.
and then lo and behold, you go into the building next to it, I think, and it's got a crank sitting on the wall.
Yep. And we go to get it, and the wall starts to get chopped up by a couple of chainsaws, and there are these two burlap bag overhead women swinging chainsaws at us. Um, I have referred to them, as well as a fact that I looked at, the Chainsaw Sisters.
Yeah,
And the Luis thing was pretty hardcore. This one became very hardcore for me because I feel like I probably should have cleared out some people, because all of a sudden the entire nation of Spain came after me along with these two chainsaw women, and I was like, okay, how do I handle this? So I just ran around the village. I did a full circle of this little area before shooting anybody, because I
what?
noticed it was. Yeah, no, I did, because I was like, oh crap! All right, I got to find an escape plan. I didn't look at this area good enough, so I looked around. I saw that there were multiple lanterns that you could shoot that would fall down.
Yeah,
So I was like, all right, let me lead them to there. So I led them to them, used that. I was able to kill one chainsaw sister pretty easily. I think I'd wounded her a good amount with the fire, but then a couple of shotgun shots and she was dead. The other one was relentless. And I swear to you, I don't know how many times I went in for a shot and one of the random villagers would be like, for the president, and jump in front of him. And I was like, okay, I did not want to shoot you. I wanted to shoot the chainsaw lady. Also, when she has her chainsaw up, if you shoot her chainsaw, it does no damage. It bounces off of her.
yeah,
But I was able to take him down. I didn't die here. I did get close though. I had to use my one and only first aid spray.
yeah. It's another thing that's quite limited in this game. I feel like the majority of this game, I've walked around with zero health options.
Yeah,
And that just seems wild to me. I don't ever feel comfortable if I don't have at least like two. And I almost never in this game have had two like full refill options, be it a first aid
yeah.
spray or a combined herb.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
That's
fight I never actually left the room that they break into,
holy crap, dude.
and I actually started off feeling pretty powerful because the fact that they come in right next to each other. This is the one use that I had really enjoyed the bolt thrower because I prepped the bolt thrower with and added on the explosive round. So when they came through, I just shot one with the explosive round and it took them both out. And I just did that with all 5 rounds. I think I had four left, 4 rounds, and then one or two grenades, and they were done. And then it was just mop up the villagers when they come through the door.
Damn. I probably should have done that.
It used up all my heavy ammo, and there were a couple of times where because I was just kind of there's like a table I think in the middle, and I kind of just kept going. I'd just sprint to the other side of the room and turn around and just get my couple of shots in before they closed in on me.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of times where there wasn't a great place to run because there were villagers on one side and a chainsaw sister on the other.
Yeah. Nah, I used the whole area.
It's probably smarter.
I made Ashley hide in a locker, and she stayed in that locker the whole time. So I just made her do that and gave me free reign. But after that, we get the crank, open the door, and that then leads to the merchant, and we can save there, and then moves. The merchant sets up shop right there at the boss fight. He's basically just like, "Hey, you might want to be ready before you walk in that room there."
Yeah. If you've not played games before, that'll tell you what's coming up next.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have our boss fight with Mendez. Mendez is he's he's preaching to us, talking about his God, giving him his gift. We shoot him a bunch of times and he does nothing. But there's a nice little explosive barrel there, and we shoot that, and kaboom! His body kind of falls apart, and we see what he's actually made of. He looks like a spider crab looking thing.
Yeah. So he's
It's kind of
what
weird.
was he always kind of a tentacle or like a fully controlled by the parasite entity and he just covered it all up with the trench coat? Or was that just kind of inside him and it wasn't visible at all until we blew up his skin suit?
I think we had to blow up his skin suit because there was a lot of like gore there. So
Yeah.
it was almost like he shed his skin a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fight, once again, I didn't have any trouble with this fight. There's two phases to it. He's kind of in our face trying to like grab us.
Yeah, it was mostly
He does it.
shotgun and TMP on this section, the first section for me.
Yeah, I just shotgun him in the face. Um, and when he went down, I would run up and stab him in the neck. And then the second phase, he gets up on the rafters, and the place is now on fire. So he's grabbing like flaming boards and throwing at us. So we kind of have to dodge those.
I was
And then
not
occasionally
good at
he'll.
dodging those.
No, I wasn't either. And then he would sometimes grab like explosive barrels, and you could shoot the barrels as he's holding them, and it would do a good amount of damage to him. And I was thinking, do I need to just wait for him to pull up the barrels? But then he would come back to you and try
Yeah.
to grab you again. And I was like, all right, well, I'll shoot him here too to make him back off. And then I started just shooting him while he was at a distance too, because I'm thinking it's still doing damage.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think I killed him when he was at a distance just with handgun rounds.
That's what I'm thinking too. But killed him. He dies. His eyeball pops out. I run up and grab his eyeball. Ashley's there. She's like, come on, let's go. Place is burned down. And I said, you wait a minute. So I ran around this entire building while it's on fire and knocked over every barrel and stuff like that. Grabbed all the little trinkets I could.
Hmm.
Then I left. Um, we continue on down the road, which leads to a drawbridge. When we walk across the drawbridge, it then comes up, and we look forward, and we are at the base of a castle. And that's where the end of chapter 6, and that's where I stopped.
Yeah, feels like it's out of
And
Dark Souls or Bloodborne or something.
yeah, it does seem like that. It does seem like that. I did like Leon's little comment when the drawbridge came up. He said, well, at least we won't be followed.
Yeah. Ominous as to what's ahead of us, but at least there's nothing behind us.
Yep. But yeah, that's where we're going to stop for the day. I've got no emails. But if you would like to send an email, it's drew@ztgd.com. You can also X at us. Follow us on X.
Sorry,
I am
what?
at DML X. Yeah, right. I am DML Fury. Matt is at REMGS, and the podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. I'm really enjoying my time with this game. I
Yeah.
really am. There's a lot of stuff I don't remember. Like, I remember being in the castle, and I remember the robe dudes running after me. But after that, I can't really remember. I think we eventually go into a laboratory. I can't remember, though. There's always a laboratory in Resident Evil, right?
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see where it goes. This has been a really good time. Even with the headaches of actually being stupid.
Yeah, a few times she's gotten me into trouble or gotten us into trouble, but the fact that you can sometimes make her hide was really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for us. I appreciate everybody listening. And until next time, I'm Drew.
And I'm Matt.
And we're out of here. You guys have a great week, and we'll be back with the continuation of Resident Evil 4 Remake.